So good afternoon, our guests and our speakers. Thanks for joining today to this collaborative event between ISRIC, COP, and between East Africa Soil Society, Kenya chapter, and between Elsevier. Today is webinar will be for 2 hours max. First, we will give a floor to Dr. Duba Golicha to take us through 2 different topics. One, Kenya Soil Society, and the second is the soil health research in Kenya. Then we will move to Dr. Denny Rigby to introduce the new collaboration between COP and Elsevier for enhancing the peer-reviewed publication, and she will also present the offers she has for African colleagues and scientists. Then we will start with the panel discussion, and then Professor Gerard from ISRIC and Wageningen University will join us for discussion and answering questions for the last 30 minutes. I would like to mention also that during each presentation, if you have any question, please use the chat box to post your question immediately, but we will answer it at the last 30 minutes during the panel discussion. I would like to invite Dr. Duba Golicha to introduce yourself, please, and then we will move to Dr. Denny Rigby to introduce herself later on. Then we give you the floor for your presentation.
Thank you very much. My name is Duba Golicha. I work for Kenya Agricultural Livestock Research Organization. Today, I am here to present to you some highlights on the society and some of the soil health research in the country. I'm doing that on behalf of Soil Science Society of East Africa Kenya chapter. We do have some other members of the society on the call. I'm not sure whether time will allow us if they can maybe introduce themselves. Those who can introduce themselves, those who may not be in a position to introduce themselves may write their details in the chat box. Dr. Americo H, kindly if you can introduce yourself.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Dr. Americo H. I'm an artist by training. I work with Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization at Food Crop Research Institute, and in the SARE Soil Society of Africa, I'm the secretary. Thank you so much. We are glad to have this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. So I need your guidance here, whether other members on the call can introduce themselves or they can write their details in the chat box. I need your guidance, the chair of the session. Can other members also introduce themselves briefly, please? The members of the society on the call. Okay.
Good afternoon.
I think we can go. Good afternoon, Dr. Kezia.
My name is Kezia Magiroi. I'm a Soil Science of East Africa member. Thank you. I'm based in KALRO in Alupe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon. Yes.
I'm Hagai, a member of Soil Science Society of East Africa, working at Chuka University. I'm glad to be here, and I believe we are going to have very fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Angelica Weboko, from also a member of the Soil Science Society, Kenyan chapter. and from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development in Kenya.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome all. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I see also more introduction in the chat box. Thank you very much. We may give the floor to Dr. Denny also to introduce herself. And then later we give a floor to Professor Gerard also. Please, Denny, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the invitation, first of all. So as you heard, I am the publisher at Elsevier. So my role there is to look after the strategic development of our soil science journals, and later on I will present to you the journals that I have in the portfolio, and sort of the availabilities and the options that we have to collaborate. Really look forward to our collaboration, and I hope it will be helpful for both you and for me. Just maybe a little bit of background about myself. So I have a PhD in plant ecotoxicology, and I joined Elsevier about 6 years ago, and spent about 2 years as an editor, and then moved on to be the publisher for the soil sciences. But I have always stuck with soils. So hopefully I'm your person, and I really hope that it can be a fruitful collaboration for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denny. Thank you. Professor Gerard, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Gerard Heuvelink. I'm a professor in Pedometrics and digital soil mapping with the Wageningen University in the Netherlands, and I'm also a staff member of ISRIC, World Soil Information. My background is actually in statistics and mathematics, but that's a long time ago, and I've been working in soil science for already many years, and I also have expertise and experience with being an editor of a journal or associate editor, deputy editor. And I think this afternoon my main role is to join the panel and discuss, how to get a special issue published and what is the role of the guest editors, etc. But we'll come to talk about that later today. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And we have Gabriel joined. Gabriel is one of the COP leader. He's responsible for one of the objectives of the COP is positioning COP, so with other soil initiatives in Africa. Gabriel, maybe give you a floor to introduce yourself also. A few minutes.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Crow. I'm Gabriel. I was based in Zimbabwe. I'm a soil scientist by profession, with 18 years of experience teaching in an university setup. My area of focus, soil fertility and fertilizer recommendations. I think it would be wonderful to share ideas and also listen to the speakers that we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Crow.
Thank you, Gabriel. We move to Dr. Duba Golicha to maybe start presenting your topic today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
We do. It's just a professor, doctor. It's not. It's okay now. Yeah. Thank you.
Is okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues and everybody online. I'm glad to take you through the overview of Soil Science Society of East Africa, specifically Kenya chapter, so that we all have the same understanding on why this society exists and what are some of the objectives that we want to undertake. This presentation will likely put us, to see where is our common interest and where are the potential areas of collaboration. Kindly mute. Kindly mute. Okay. So the Soil Science Society of East Africa was formed a number of years ago. It was formed in September 1974. That is like over, I can say, is over 50 years ago. It was formed at the 13th meeting of the East African Specialist Committee for Soil Fertility and Crop Nutrition. And when it was formed, the meeting was, the meeting was conducted in Nairobi, Kenya. You can imagine that some of the people who started this society are very senior citizens. The people have now retired from the service who have had this idea to create this important society. And, in the first instance, it started with only 10 founder members. And these 10 members, some of them are from Kenya, some from Uganda, and some from Tanzania. But then, since that time, the membership has been on increase. In fact, growing to nearly for 50%. Each and every time there are a lot of interested scientists, those in research, those in extension, those in academic, joining the society. And when more members join the society, then it is the advantage of the society. We all pull together also for the society. We all pull together the society, and we all accomplish the task of the society together. So increase in membership is one of the key point that has kept us moving forward. Now, the vision of Soil Science Society of East Africa, specifically Kenya chapter, is to become a center of excellence and a valued member of the global research and academic community in soil science and other related fields. So the vision is to become a center of excellence and a valued member of the global research and academic community in soil science and other related fields. Looking at the mission of the society, the mission is to promote soil science and related subjects and disciplines through research, training, and provision of services for development to the public and private sector in East Africa in an environmentally friendly way. Especially this time round, when the issues to do with greenhouse gas emissions from agricultural activities, including use of, excessive use of chemical fertilizers, greenhouse gas emissions from crop production and livestock production, then this society is very key in promoting management of soil resources in a way that does not harm the environment. And this is our mission. Now, this is a non-political and also a non-profit-making organization, of course, with membership from East African countries. So we don't have aim or any mission to make profit. And also this is non-political, professional society. And the society advocates for sustainable soil health management, not only for today, but also looking into the future. And our motto is soil is our life and wealth protected. That's the Soil Science Society of East Africa motto. Soil is our life and wealth protected, which is which emphasize why this society exists and why it is important. All of us here on the call. Now, of course, we are here to address some biophysical problems. And one of the problem that the society is aiming to solve is our soils becoming degraded, soil degradation. And the degradation is rapid. And when we have a problem of soil degradation, then the soil cannot supply macronutrients in the right amounts, in the right forms, in the right proportion. When we have those soil degradation, then as a society, we need to think deeply on how to solve and how to restore back soil to its health. When the soil
I think
are degraded, we end up having physical as well as this, result into food insecurity, nutritional insecurity, jobs loss, and other socioeconomic challenges. Because when soils are degraded, it automatically results into food insecurity, and this also ultimately result into food-related poverty. And that is why this society is very key in addressing soil degradation and in maintaining the ability of the soil to provide plant nutrients. Now, looking at the governance of Soil Science Society of East Africa, the society is governed by a constitution authored in a regional secretariat and endorsed by members in general meeting. So when in our biannual meeting, where all the members from East African countries, like last year we had a meeting in Tanzania and the number of members were there. That was the time the constitution were authored. But in terms of day-to-day operations, they are coordinated by secretariat under each chapter. We have Ugandan Soil Science Society of East Africa chapter, Tanzania Soil Science Society of East Africa chapter, and Kenya Soil Science Society of East Africa chapter. And with regard to governance, each chapter has got a chairperson, secretary, treasurer, and other advisory committees. And these are the people running the day-to-day operations at country level. We do appreciate that we have global overarching at East Africa level constitution, but the daily operations of the society are being coordinated by the officials from each and every chapter as indicated here. Now, what is the objective or various, objectives of the society? One is to promote the research, teaching, and application of soil sciences. Then to create awareness for sustainable soil fertility management for today and tomorrow. When we do awareness creation, for example, the soil testing, when farmers are encouraged to do soil testing, it is one way of awareness creation. How many farmers in East Africa or in Kenya can, voluntarily take their soil samples for analysis so that fertilizer recommendations are made in line with the soil profiles. Also, awareness creation in terms of managing soil sustainably without causing deterioration or degradation. Another objective is to promote, kindly mute, there's some noise from background. Another objective is to promote scientific procedures meant to sustainably uphold food security, ecosystems, and community development. This is a scientific society, so we uphold and promote scientific procedures in sustainable resource management. Another objective is to share professional experiences, particularly those related to positive soil health management. This we do it in various meetings and in various scientific conferences. Now, the membership of the society is voluntary and it's also open to a number of disciplines related to soil sciences. Individuals can join, and these individuals can be students, lecturers. We do have a number of lecturers in the membership. Soil scientists from research and academic institutions, biometricians, environmentalists, those who are into animal production and inclined towards soil, socioeconomists, agricultural extension providers, and others. We have allowed these individuals to join. Institutions can also join the society, like corporate organizations, including both national and international agricultural organizations. They can join the society as organizations. Training institutions, like colleges, non-governmental organizations working on soil health, community-based organizations working on soil health, cooperatives, and agro companies are all legally allowed to join the societies. Other nationalities. Of late, the society has witnessed individuals from other rest of Africa who are interested to join this society, and they write to us, showing their intent or their willingness to join this society. And the constitution and the management have also allowed other nationalities who have shown interest to join this professional society. Now, looking at some of the society's activities here, number one is to hold biannual conferences. We had a biannual conference last year in Tanzania, Moshi, where a number of members from various East African countries and other friends of the society from Europe and all over the country attended the conference. Next year also, we are planning to have another conference, and here people kindly mute, please. So even next year, we are planning to have another conference, possibly in Uganda. And during this conference, scientific papers on soil health and related fields are presented. We also have panel discussions on soil science and various, interactions, keynote addresses on the field of soil science are made. We also host biannual general meeting. This biannual general meeting involves all the members and the secretariat from all the East African countries. And this is normally conducted at the same time during the biannual conference. Another, activity is to author and publish scientific papers and book chapters. We encourage our members to publish scientific papers in this field so that we advance soil science in East Africa and also share the research findings with global scientific community. Another activity of the society is to promote soil technologies and procedures. And we promote soil technologies through publications, through presentation in scientific conferences, through exhibitions, and through various forums. For example, our members do attend various conferences and present a number of soil technologies so that we take out some of the proven soil health research findings. We do other activity as determined by the members and the society based on need and based on prevailing environmental conditions. Because of the variability of agricultural environment, there's need to have an open mind in terms of the activities that we want to undertake. That's why we have made it open, and related and useful activities are all implemented. Now, we have planned for some forthcoming Soil Science Society of East Africa activities. And one of them is to update the society strategic plan. The strategic plan is prepared in 5-year time frame. And it's always important to update this in line with current conditions. For example, one of the reasons why we want to update this strategic plan is in the year 2024, in the month of May in Nairobi, there is Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit. And at that meeting, there was some endorsements made by heads of states and the government of Africa. From there, each country domesticated fertilizer and soil health 10-year action plan, 2026 to 2035. So our activities also need to be in line with these national priorities or Africa level soil health priorities. Therefore, we need, we are planning to mobilize our members so that we update our strategic plan. Another forthcoming activity is to participate in various soil health scientific conference. As I said, next year, for example, we have 2 key conferences. One of them is the Soil Science Society of East Africa conference that we plan to conduct in Uganda. There is also East Africa Agroecology Conference and other, upcoming conferences. We plan to participate in these conferences that are going to touch on soil science. Aligning the society to the African or global soil health platforms like Africa Soil Partnerships and other, FAO global soil partnerships. We want to align the society to these existing platforms. Of course, we intend to enhance partnerships with both regional and international agencies, both for sharing, soil health practices, but also to build the synergies and enhance collaboration between various organizations. That is overview of the society. I hope now you have understood better what the society is. If I'm allowed now, I want to go to the next presentation. May I go to the next presentation?
Yes, please, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See my screen?
We do, yes.
Okay, in this presentation, I'm going to share with you some of the soil health initiatives in Kenya. Of course, there are other soil health initiatives that are being implemented by various agencies and organizations, but I'm going to share with you some of them so that you have an idea of some of the activities that are happening in the country. So, the soil health research, encompasses both environment and natural resource management issues. And there are various fields of research within the soil health arena that very different people are undertaking in this country. For example, if you look at the GIS and remote sensing and mapping, there's digital soil mapping activity that's going on in this country. There are activities on ISFM practices, integrated soil fertility management practices, in order to promote precision agriculture, in order to enhance nutrient use efficiency, also happening in East Africa and specifically in Kenya. The need for ecological organic agriculture to promote soil fertility management in an environmentally friendly way is also being taken seriously by various bodies. Soil and water management is key, another key area. For example, practices like conservation agriculture, minimum tillage is a soil health practice that various bodies are undertaking. Irrigation practices and management of problem soils, like sodic soils or saline soils, especially in an irrigation environment, is key. And this is very much related to the water use efficiency, which is a key area. Environmental management and sustainability, especially with regard to reuse of materials in order to promote the circular economy, using residues and using plant residues to maintain soil health, the biochar, and various aspects of recycling to promote soil health management. This is a broad overview. I will go to detail one by one and take you to about 5 or 6 projects in this field. The first one, there's an activity of called digital soil fertility mapping and context-specific fertilizer recommendations for improved agricultural productivity in Kenya is one activity that is currently active in the country and is funded by government of Kenya and World Bank. And looking at this activity, it is a nationwide, countrywide activity, a relatively big initiative that being coordinated from Kenya Agricultural Livestock Research Organization. And looking at the objectives of this initiative is that we want to determine the soil fertility status of agricultural landscapes in this country. That's both for crop agriculture and livestock, or pastoral or agro-pastoral environment. We want to understand the current soil fertility status. It's not that we have not been doing this, but we find it necessary to always update and understand the current status, specifically after every 5 years or less, because the soil fertility status do change with the management and the intensity of use. This project also has an objective to develop and use digital soil fertility maps, for evidence-based fertilization guidelines. We want to produce maps that's going to inform fertilization guideline. In this project, we want to determine farm-specific, or rather context-specific fertilizer recommendations for priority agricultural value chains, for some oil crops and for some cereals, as well as for some pulses, which are priority for this country. And the fourth objective is to build a soil health database and information system. These are databases that can be used for decision making. Now, there are some accomplished tasks under this initiative. Soil sampling done in about 30 counties. We want to do it in 45 counties, but already about 30 counties or more, the soil sampling has been accomplished. And those are some of the examples of counties where soil sampling has been done: Embu, Tharaka-Nithi, Kitui, and others. The total target is to collect 77,969 soil samples. And in this project, there's some way forward. There are some activities that we are going to undertake. One of them is we want to build capacity of public soil science laboratories through equipping with scanners, MIR scanners. That's one activity that we want to undertake. The analysis of soil samples is almost starting. For those samples that are collected, the process of soil lab analysis is starting. After the analysis, we are going to provide recommendations which the government is expecting from us. But ultimately, we will end up with what we call KENSIS, that is Kenya Soil Information System. This is a database that's going to be used for posterity when it comes to decision-making on soil health management. Just to show you some of the, result from preliminary work of this activity. This is soil pH levels in Kiambu County, and these are digital soil pH map. And you can see the pH map, there is pH class of strongly acid, 4.5 to 4.9, moderately acid, 5.0 to 5.9, and there's some slightly acidic area looking at this pH map. And then we can make some recommendations from this map, like for example, how are we going to manage strongly acid soils? The one in red, strongly acid soils. This is the possible recommendations can be to apply agricultural lime or dolomitic lime based on calcium or magnesium, which one is deficient. And you can put lime at 800 kilogram per acre You can also apply or broadcast with 2 tons per acre of well-decomposed manure. That's strongly acid soils. And then you can look at the management of moderately acid soils with pH 5.0 to 5.9. You can apply lime at 200 to 400 kilogram per acre, now less than for strongly acid soil. And then you can also broadcast 1 ton per acre of well-decomposed manure. The other one is 2 tons, and this one is 1 ton. But for slightly acid, you can only manage. You don't need to put lime. You can also manage through use of well-decomposed manure. So this is some of the outputs that are coming from the digital soil mapping project. Another project that we are doing is sustainable farming, AgWise model for evidence-based fertilizer recommendations. This is a collaboration between KALRO and SEAT, and it's an ongoing activity. And the objective of this initiative is to put soil health and agronomic data into beneficial use. We have seen that over the years, there are a number of research activities on soils, on agronomy, that happen in this country from students like PhD students, from researchers, from National Research Organization, from CGIR. So we went into a process of putting all this data together. And then after that, we shall use this data to provide optimal and opportunity for optimal use of soil health and agronomic data for fertilizer recommendations. We have done that, and we have run the model using this data. And you can see like data records of 28,662 have been put together from various previous soil health and soil health research with 292 variables, looking at N, end response, P, yield response, pH, and it's touching about a number of value chains, 21. Looking at maize value chain, we have a record of 20,364. So from this work, we can give a good recommendation, fertilizer recommendation for maize value chain already. And we are in the process of developing this recommendation for maize, because maize is a key staple crop in this country. So you can see how these initiatives are very useful for us in the field of soil science and for the farmers in this country. Now, the third project is on soil acidity management in Kenya. We have seen that there are places where the fertilizer recommendations, the fertilizer application are not working. And one potential reason is the challenge of soil acidity. So we undertook an initiative of understanding areas in Kenya with the problem of soil acidity, so that we advise the government and the stakeholders on areas requiring lime intervention. So we identified extent of soil acidity in Kenya. We know the counties affected by soil acidity. We have ranked severely affected counties. So now we have documented a published work showing extent of soil acidity, which counties, which area in this country, has got problem of soil acidity. And we have also quantified lime required to address the problem of soil acidity. Is a very useful was a very useful initiative that really that can guide the intervention of government and the stakeholders when it comes to acidity management. You know which county to go with, which county has got a problem of soil acidity. It's mainly in western part of the country, the food basket areas, and also in central part of Kenya. We have published a paper out of this work, and we also have a report that we can share with interested parties. Going forward to other similar projects on soil health in the country, we have an initiative of developing grain and livestock manure for soil health management. And this is also in line with the Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan 2025-2036, because there is a need for us to have alternative to chemical fertilizer. Then we developed a project trying to understand the resources that are available in the country to provide alternatives, soil fertilization methods. So we want to develop composting and management techniques for green and animal manure. We want to determine also the impacts of this manure in relation to chemical fertilizer. How do these green and animal manure impact on crop yields and soil parameters? And the other objective of this initiative is we want to promote a practice that maintains environmental integrity, use of environmentally friendly green and animal manure. Of course, at the end of this work, we want to provide policy recommendations and guidelines for scaling up green and animal manure use. This is an initiative that we started and it's ongoing. We are in the process of getting the nutrient profiles of these local green and animal manure opportunities. After getting the nutrient profile, we will validate them in the field. And then after doing data validation, we'll scale it up, promote it for use by our farmers, and at the same time provide policy recommendations for the government so that the government also promote a use of alternative soil fertilization methods through use of green and livestock manure. Now, I know my time is almost, I've just, maybe I have less than 10 minutes, but I'm almost there. So another initiative is DST, Decision Support Tool with Soil Health Information. We are in the process of developing a decision support tool where we can use soil health and agronomy data to put it in the tool and to provide us with recommendations. So we have started with a meta-analysis on decision support tools for soil health information. And then after this meta-analysis, we are going to develop the tool itself. And this tool mainly targets fertilizer recommendations. Of course, we hope to publish some peer-reviewed article from here, but we are at the stage of doing meta-analysis. And, after that one, we develop the DST, that's a decision support tool for fertilizer recommendation. It's also an ongoing initiative. Now, this is another important soil health initiative, that is Kenya 10-year Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan. And this emanated from African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit conducted in May 2024 in Nairobi. And the objective is to implement the Soil Health Declaration made during Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit. There are some key objectives for Africa and East Africa there, and one of them is to triple domestic production and distribution of certified quality fertilizers, both organic and inorganic. We want to reverse soil degradation, or rather land degradation, and restore soil health on at least 30% of degraded soil by 2034. This is our main objective for this initiative. There are some work already accomplished. I'm glad that there are some technical working group members here appointed by PS for agriculture to oversee the implementation of this plan. And the technical working group already delivered a draft 10-year Kenya Fertilizer and Soil Health Implementation Plan. And also there are a number of activities that have been going on last year and this year. For example, IGAD Ministers of Agriculture endorsed 10-year soil health upwards member states during Africa Climate Summit. That was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So the process of finalizing this action plan has started. And one of the way forward is to validate that action plan with stakeholders and they launch the Kenya 10-year Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan. And then, of course, after that one, we go to implementation phase. The activities and the action plans in this 10-year development blueprint goes to implementation phase after the launch of the plan. Now, some of the actions in this plan, just to give you an example, one is to source and avail organic, inorganic, and organic minerals and biofertilizers. For us to do this, the society has got a role to play. What can we do as a society to avail or to advise our farmers on organic, inorganic, organominerals, and biofertilizers? We have to have a role in this nationwide or rather even Africa-wide action plan. We, as a professional society, we have a stake on supporting research and development of these fertilizers and organominerals. And the fertilizer recommendations, the traditional fertilizer recommendations has been focusing mainly on chemical fertilizers. But we want to reach a point to update this fertilizer recommendation in an integrated way, involving both chemical fertilizers, organic fertilizers, and other soil health management practices. As these are some key action points in this 10-year plan. And we as a society, we do have a role to play in this action plan. Now, as I conclude, what are some potential areas of collaboration? What are potential areas of collaboration between the society, ISRIC, Wageningen University, HOPE? Where can we collaborate as we go into a discussion? Some of the potential areas that we can collaborate is research on soil health, the physical, chemical, and biological soil parameters for improved agri-food systems. We have an opportunity to collaborate as institutions on soil health research. We have an opportunity to collaborate in implementation of Kenya Fertilizer and Soil Health Action Plan 2026-2035. I mentioned some of the proposed actions. Where can we collaborate together to implement or to take forward some of these action points? We still have an opportunity to organize key events together, like World Environmental Day, 5th June, World Soil Day in December, even December 2026. Can we collaborate to organize these key events together, whether virtually or physically, so that we take the soil health agenda to the wider community? We also have a potential area of collaboration in supporting young soil scientists, that is through mentorship and scholarships. For example, exchange visits to Wageningen University Research Center, ISRIC, exchange visits to KALRO. These are some of the potential areas of collaboration that we may need to consider as we go into further collaboration beyond this webinar. I want to stop there and give it back to Chair. And thank you, colleagues, for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Golicha, for the informative presentation. We will receive, we will answer all the questions later during the discussion part. I don't see any question actually in the chat, but myself, I have a few questions, but I will keep it to the end. Thank you very much. I may give a floor now to Dr. Denny to start presenting. Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and for initiating this collaboration. I'm actually a bit upset I didn't think of it myself, but really want to say a big thank you to ISRIC for reaching out and for inviting me today. So as I mentioned, I'm Denny Rigby. I work for Elsevier. I'm the publisher at the Soil Science in the Soil Science portfolio. And I just wanted to sort of talk to you about some collaboration opportunities and perhaps build on a little bit on what Dr. Golicha said, and we're very open to ideas as well. And perhaps we can indeed collaborate with Dr. Golicha and the society in terms of events, in terms of other things as well. So let's see how it goes. So at Elsevier, we have this is the portfolio that I look after. So as you can see, I have a number of journals which kind of span from anything type sort of fundamental soil processes through kind of more the applied agriculture, land management, kind of soil ecology, soil biology, through kind of a more broader environmental science, but also climate related research. So as you can see, I look after journals like Applied Soil Ecology, like Gatina, like Earth Critical Zone. This is a new journal. European Journal of Soil Biology, Geoderma Regional, Pedobiologia, Pedosphere, Rhizosphere, Soil Advances, another new journal, Soil Biology and Biochemistry, as well as Soil Security and Soil and Tillage Research. I'm also the interim publisher for agricultural water management at the moment. So if you have any ideas for collaboration with these journals or with other Elsevier journals, please get in touch with me. I will share my email address in the last slide so that we can discuss any ideas, for example, for special issues. So now I would like to sort of share with you a few ideas for collaboration. So first of all, we can perhaps think of collaborating on special issues. So perhaps some of the projects that Dr. Golicha is working on, there might be an opportunity there for a special issue on some of the aspects that you're working on. And this is always a great way on highlighting emerging topics in soil science and bringing together kind of experts from around the world, whether this is sort of something more around digital soil mapping or soil health, or let's say carbon sequestration or sustainable agriculture or something like this. It's a really, really great way of showcasing the latest research, and it's a really, really wonderful way to strengthen our collaboration across the community, but also a really wonderful opportunity for someone to try out guest editing roles, because that helps shape important collection of papers, but also it might help you in your career as well. Another opportunity that I was hoping that we can explore is having applications from some of your members or some of you here on the call who may be interested in joining the boards on one of my journals. And as I said, please let me know if there are other journals you're interested in. I can always at least point you in the right direction. So as I said, I'm always looking for editorial board members who are sort of bringing new expertise onto our journals, and specifically maybe some more geographical expertise, because we have a lot of manuscripts coming from Africa, and sometimes we don't necessarily have the people on our boards who can help us assess those manuscripts. So serving on our editorial boards is that's as you know, a great opportunity to contribute to the research community, but also it helps you gain experience within the publication process, but also I think it helps you develop as a researcher and as an author, but also it helps you shape the direction of a journal, because editorial board members often can contribute with, once again, ideas for special issues, but they can also contribute within the strategic development of a journal. So if there are researchers here on the call who are interested in becoming or getting more involved, I'll be very happy to receive your application. And I actually encourage you to send me your CV, including your Scopus and Google Scholar profiles, and then I can obviously assess this and review those, and then I can bring these forward to the editors-in-chief for further discussions. Other things that I was hoping that perhaps we can collaborate on are things like workshops or webinars, whatever is most suitable. So probably some sort of online meeting. So that we can do we can collaborate and help you with some training. So we can organize a series of joint workshops and that are aimed at researchers at different career stages. So for example, we could cover topics like how to write a strong paper, and what editors are really what type of what are editors really looking for, what sort of the top tips on how to avoid desk rejection, and just in general, how can you prepare a high quality peer review. That's the other thing. So how to review. So these are all things that we can collaborate in, and we can help with discussing this with editors. If there is, let's say you're interested in a specific journal, we can do this. So I can ask some of the editors-in-chief to help and present, or we can also do a kind of a more generic webinar on this. And last thing that I could think of, but please tell me, and if you have any ideas, I'm very open. That, for example, if you have any idea, if you want to become an editor and you're interested in this type of topic, I'm very happy to present and explain to you how you can become one, and how I find editors for my journals, and what type of experience you need, and what is actually included in an editorial the responsibilities for an editor, and this is kind of the collaboration possibilities that I could think of. Perhaps Dr. Golicha, you can get in touch, and we can think of maybe an Elsevier award for an early career researcher or something like this. I'll be very happy to help. But with that, this is all I had to cover today. So thank you very much again for inviting me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this will be the beginning of a very, very lovely collaboration between all of us. And yeah, please get in touch if you have any questions or any ideas. I'll be very, very happy to listen to what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Denny, for the presentation and for the offer, of course, from Elsevier. I think it's a very good opportunity for all our colleagues, soil scientists from Africa, to join this collaboration, and together with you can define a special issue that the main scientists are interested in, or the direction of the recent scientific paper goes to in Africa, so we can manage that to be published in a special issue with you. So thank you very much, and I hope they could make a note of your email. Otherwise, we can always put it in the chat. Is that possible?
I will put it in the chat. And
okay.
Something that I wanted to also mention, Dro, because you and I discussed this, but perhaps worth mentioning here as well is if you have ideas for special issues, I can help with publishing it in one of the hybrid journals. So there I can actually help with making the special issue open access for 2 years. So I may not be able to help in open access journals because I have very limited powers. I work for a big publisher, so often I don't have that much big power over the bigger decisions, but this is still something I can help with, and I'll be very, very keen to help. And yeah, please get in touch. Thank you very much.
And I think, Dr. Denny, you also mentioned that for that hybrid journal will be free of charge. Maybe it's good to also mention that.
Correct.
confirm?
So this is free.
Yeah.
This is free. Yes. So this is what I mean. So if you publish in one of the hybrid journals and the subscription, sorry, I know this, but might not be very obvious for everyone else. So if you publish in a special issue in one of the hybrid journals under subscription, I will be very happy to make this open access for 2 years for you. Sorry, that's much hopefully.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Maybe I give a floor to Professor Gerard now to maybe start the panel discussion together with Dr. Denny and Dr. Golicha. I don't know if you are still around. I don't see you actually there. I see questions for Dr. Golicha, and I don't know if we can start with that, Professor. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to structure a little bit so that we definitely want to talk about the special issue, because I think we're very fortunate to have Dr. Rigby in our midst and a really kind offer. And we need to discuss, for example, the journals some of the journals are open access, so they're not hybrid, so they would not qualify. So it would be good to know which ones. But maybe first we should be, dedicate some time to questions to Dr. Golicha, and I think there were a few in the chat.
I
didn't check them all, but there was, for example, one by Valentin Assong. So I don't know, Valentine, would you like to maybe ask your question? Is that the way to proceed now?
Yes, we can also read it. I don't know if he likes to say it himself. Valentine, would you like to unmute yourself, or should I read it? Yes.
Crew, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this floor. And I really appreciate the presentations by Dr. Golicha. My question for his presentation goes to the issue of digital soil mapping, which, in my opinion, we have realized that traditional digital soil mappings always result to the production of static maps, which need updates. And usually soil scientists take some time or years before the map is updated. Now, to produce maps that can inform local farmers, for example, in a very short time for fertilizer production, will need some innovation in this digital soil mapping technique which they are proposing. So I was asking what plans they have in the project or in the initiative to come up with real-time maps that can help local farmers, especially in Kenya, to get real-time informed decisions, for real-time information for decision making in terms of fertilizer application. So that's specifically what I wanted to hear from him. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Golicha, are you around to answer this question?
Yes, I'm around and happy to react to that very interesting question on, real-time soil map. Yeah, it's important for us to have real-time soil map because of temperature changes, the soil quality, the soil nutrients change with time. So like we cannot use 5 year ago soil map to make recommendations today, based on, of course, intensity of use, the change through the nutrient uptake by plant. So to make it real time, one thing that we are doing in this initiative of digital soil mapping is we are in the process of going to dry chemistry, which is quick. The scanners, we intend to have scanners placed in strategic locations within the farming community. And then in a very short time, within a span of 4 days, the farmers can get the results when the scanners are placed in strategic locations close to farming communities. The farmers can access and get results in 4 days. That is taking the soil testing service closer to farmers. That's one. But just like the other point is that just like other scientific field, the soil health research is advancing. There are people who are into, remotely sensed technologies, which is still developing. So as a society, all of us need to be keen and on top of these upcoming or rather developing technologies that can also provide a better real-time solution. Thank you.
I think maybe Dr. Golicha, to continue on this, because I think the question was also a bit about, at least how it was phrased in the chat, is that many soil properties are actually quite dynamic. I think, for example, soil nutrient concentration, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc., they might actually vary quite a lot, especially in agricultural land, because after fertilizing, the concentration goes up. So how can we, when you do digital soil mapping, do you do it like in a static way? You just make a map of a soil fertility, or do you do some kind of like space-time mapping, or is that something you could address? Or
Yeah, we are making a spatially, coherent map that can show within a spatial extent or in a certain pixel what's the current soil condition.
Right.
Within a certain spatial extent and within a certain temporal resolution what's the soil condition.
Right, because sometimes we use like legacy soil data that can be quite from a long time ago.
For this one, we are not using legacy soil data.
Right.
We are using the current soil data. Yeah.
Right. So it's quite up to date then in that sense.
Yeah.
I was also wondering what kind of techniques you use for digital soil mapping.
Well, we are using MIR scanners.
But what kind of, you use like a digital soil mapping approach. So I guess you have covariates and then you relate them to your soil properties using some algorithm, or?
Yes, we have some environmental covariates that inform the soil mapping, and using some algorithms. Then we produce it in our software space or any other softwares for spatial analysis.
You use maybe machine learning methods for that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I'm just mentioning because I think there's definitely an opportunity for a collaboration there also with ISRIC and Wageningen, because we also have quite some experience with these kind of methods. Yeah, I see in the chat that also Denny had a few questions, mostly related to the fertilizer recommendations. Denny, shall I let you ask your question?
My questions are probably a little bit silly and kind of bigger picture. So I am sorry if everyone knows this, but I was just curious to know. So what happens after you have given, your recommendation to the government, and as a follow-up from that, when you give, however, you need to apply 2 tons of lime onto these soils, what happens? Is it the farmers that pay for this, or is it the government? Because it seems like an awful a lot of money all of a sudden to put onto the farmers.
Yeah, thank you. For this initiative, we are taking nationwide initiative. Farmers are not paying. Is supported by the government. But for as you go into the future, once we establish the system and we encourage the farmers to test their soil, then we want farmers, for it to be a self-sustaining system, farmers to pay some commission for this. But this may be beyond this soil mapping project. But as now, as we implement this project, it's not paid by the farmers. But in the long run, we want to encourage the farmers really to pay at subsidized price for testing their own soils so that the system supports itself.
That's a wonderful initiative. And may I ask, so once you have given your recommendation to the government, it's just, I know that if no one holds the governments accountable, then, they can just ask for recommendation and advice, but do absolutely nothing with it, as it is the case in the United Kingdom since the UK has left the EU. We have no one to hold us accountable. So very often before the EU would fine you or there would be some sort of sanctions. But nowadays there are no such sanctions. So it is, I find it a bit ridiculous. So then the Environment Agency would give some sort of government advice and then the government would do as they wish. So whether they take it or not is really down to them. This was my question.
So you said in UK, when you give them the results of the soil health analysis or soil mapping to the government can do what they wish with it? Is that
yes,
the
So in the past, before the UK left the EU, there would be sanctions because the EU would have a norm and they would say, the pH of certain rivers needs to be a certain level, let's say. And nowadays we have left the EU, so now we have no longer anyone to hold us accountable. So the government just decides what they like to take as advice, depending on their funding and how much they want to spend on the environment that year. So this is why I was asking who holds the government accountable, and does it work? As in, when you give them recommendations, do they actually do something about it?
Yeah, this is a government initiative. It's government funding, and it's spearheading the whole process of digital soil mapping. So the government, itself, saw the need for this initiative. So, for example, the government will use the map. You will use the map for the programs like fertilizer subsidy program. Expect the government to use. So, unlike maybe UK or other countries, we don't expect the government just to leave it like that. Ultimately, once the results are out, it will be used by the government and as well as the farms.
Well, funnily enough, they also pay for some of this digital mapping and things like that, but just a lot of the time, or at the moment, nothing seems to come out of it because there's always a priority in terms of funding. But that's a separate issue. So thank you very much. That was very, very interesting.
Yeah, may I make some clarification? For example, like in UK or maybe also in Netherlands, how often do you carry out such a national exercise on understanding the soil health or digital soil mapping or related activity? How often?
Every 5 to 10 years, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is like in the Netherlands, but I suspect probably something similar.
Yeah, I don't really know, so to check. Yeah, I see that, by the way, Crow has her hand raised. So
yeah, maybe I can. Well, I think it's more regular in the Netherlands, I believe, because I was in a course with some people from upstairs, Gerard, from Venice Group, and I know that they are running annual monitoring and updating of the map. So I don't think it's as 5 years. I think it's shorter than that. But I don't know the exact time. But I know it's not that much. It's shorter. Yeah, my
Yes.
question.
Oh, you had a
I
question
wanted
as
to
well.
ask.
Yeah. By the way, I'm
Yes,
looking at the clock. I think we have 35 minutes left, so maybe we can
yes,
use another 5 minutes to
yes, and
ask
then we
questions
stop.
to
Yeah,
Dr.
exactly.
Golicha, and then we'll move to the special issue topic. Yeah.
Yes, sure,
And then
sure.
I also want to, through the chat, I also want to encourage maybe the members of the society who are online
Yeah,
also, if they make some
yeah,
clarifications, some
yeah,
additions,
exactly. They can also
especially when it
contribute.
comes to potential areas of collaboration. I hope we can also have
Yeah,
some way forward on this.
yeah. I have one question, Doctor. The project of the digital soil maps that you mentioned, who is funding that? Is it the government funding?
Yeah, it's government funding and
Okay,
also the government and World Bank.
and World Bank. And who is leading
Yeah,
that? KALRO, is
yeah,
it?
KALRO is leading.
And do you have other partners, like international partners?
Yes, we are working with other partners and even with some private sectors. In the initial stages of this project, there are some CGIR who are on board
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
also some private sectors as well. Yeah.
Did it start recently, like
Well,
this year,
it's
last year?
ongoing. It's ongoing. It started a year or slightly more than a year ago. There was a lot of initial steps, and it's a national wide. It's a big project. It's a national wide access. So
Yeah. So
now
it's kind of like a country FSRP program, FSRP World Bank
yes,
program.
part of it,
Yeah,
part of it actually
part of.
supported by FSRP. Part of it for
Okay.
the FSRP counties.
And does it has a closing date for the project? Sorry, this is my last question.
Well, we intend to finish it as early as possible. Now that we have done better part of soil sampling, I think analysis, because we are going to use dry chemistry, is going to be very fast. And then
Okay,
after
but you
analysis,
don't
we are
have a
going to predict.
deadline, like if SRP tells you this close in 2028, for example. You don't have that.
Well, I don't think we even go up to 2028. If SRP
Oh,
may
yeah.
close around 2028, we are likely to finish even much earlier than 2028.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.
So
There was a question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just asking you if the members from the society, they are here to make any contributions,
Yeah,
questions.
actually there was one by Shemelis Tesema, and I think it also a little bit links to something you said before, and actually your call for participation, because you presented earlier today about the Soil Society of Soil Science Society of Eastern Africa, but then later you continued mostly with like national initiatives. And so my question, and it's also a bit Shemelis mentions, how strong is like the collaboration between the countries having joint projects within Eastern Africa? She's from Ethiopia. Is Ethiopia also part of the Soil Society of Eastern Africa?
Yes, the projects I presented are for Kenya,
Right,
but
I
the
know.
society is Soil Science Society of East Africa. The active, like last year, we had members from various countries, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and also there are some few also from other East Africa, so East African countries. So it's also open, as I said, it's also open to other countries in Eastern Africa. So for the Ethiopians who are maybe on the call, if they want to participate, currently we are organizing for next year East Africa conference. So just reach out to us. It's open to East African countries.
Yeah, Shemelis, yeah, I see you raise your thumb, so you understood this, because I think this meeting is an excellent opportunity to strengthen those collaborations as well, because I think there's a lot of expertise within the different countries that you could share.
Sure.
And you have a meeting within Eastern Africa, and you mentioned earlier that you have these kind of meetings, then this would be an excellent opportunity. Yeah, good. Okay, so I think we can now move to the next topic on the special issue, because I think the idea would be, I mean, we have Dr. Rigby here, so these journals that she is representing, I think they're very suitable for the kind of work that the group the society is working on. So that would be an excellent opportunity. But then we have to make this work somehow, and how to get this idea operational. ISRIC, I think, is offering to sort of like negotiate, be a coordinator, or I see Pro nodding.
Yeah.
But of course,
I think. I think maybe, sorry, Gerard, maybe I just need to add some background. Actually, during the discussion with the Kenya Soil Society in preparation for this webinar, it was a request from Dr. Mary and the colleagues from Soil Society to find an opportunity to contact the publisher so we can establish this sort of collaboration on having special issues and being a guest editor. So I started contacting few, and I was so happy that Dr. Rigby replied positively. And so I think now the idea will be that now we have the offer from Elsevier. Now we just need to have a follow-up meeting together with the Kenya Soil Society to see how we can formalize this collaboration. Like who wants to lead, how we can open applications, because I don't think we should like maybe the coordination of the whole process can stay with Soil Society in Kenya, but we can also invite a bigger audience, bigger community members to apply for these positions that are offered by Dr. Rigby and see if they are qualified and successful. So like equal opportunities, like let's say. But I believe that I invite Dr. Mary also to maybe follow up on this if I missed something. But I think the best thing is to have a follow-up meeting to formalize the collaboration.
Yeah, but we still have half an hour, so I think we can start exploring it already now.
Of course,
I think
yes.
Dr. Rigby would like to say something.
Yes.
Maybe I can build up a little bit on this. So the way it would work with special issues is normally you would write a proposal. So the proposal initially can be a little bit vague, but think about the journal that you have in mind. So let's say you pick Geoderma Regional because that's a hybrid journal, and that there I can help you. And also it's very thematical because it's a regional journal, so I think it'll be quite a good fit. And the way it would work is that you would write a proposal which can be vague, but also it needs to be, you need to hit the balance quite right. So normally the initial stage would be either you send it to the editors-in-chief or you send it to me, and then we would evaluate it together. So, and we will be able to give you some feedback. So what I mean, I'm just going to go back a little bit on my point that you need to strike the balance right, is that think about the audience, think about who is reading this special issue. So let's say if you go to Geoderma Regional, that's a very broad scope journal. So you can't just have, I don't know, carbon sequestration in Southeast Africa. So it needs to be, think about exactly what you want, exactly what you want to come out. And it can't just be an idea, which is one paragraph. It doesn't need to be very long, so you don't waste your time. When we have given you sort of the green light that we think the idea is good, then you can start writing a slightly more detailed proposal. So for that proposal, you will then have to think about the number of manuscripts you will be receiving. Let's say from this initiative, you think that you will receive 20 manuscripts. But just to be completely honest with you, if you're expecting 20 manuscripts for a special issue, probably 10 of them will be desk rejected. So what I mean by that is that they will not be suitable because they're either out of scope or they don't hit the quality that is expected by the journal. And so from there, you would then have, let's say, 7 or 8 manuscripts, which are then accepted within that special issue. And that is absolutely fine. And that is a perfectly good special issue. So this is kind of the thing that you would have to think about, but also Elsevier can help. Elsevier has those open calls for special issues, so you're not relying only on your on your community. The next step would be to also identify, Tro, exactly as you said, someone who can lead the special issue. So we will need maybe one leader, maybe a couple of people, depending on the size of the guest of the special issue. And then perhaps another thing that you can think about is having someone who is international. So if it's a big special issue, I very much encourage that we have a nice international group of guest editors. And that just helps with being a little bit more, so there are no conflict of interest, because perhaps the leader of the guest of the special issue has conflict of interest with some of the authors. So we need to be covered in those areas. Another thing to point out is that when you have a special issue, we normally have an overseeing editor who works for the journal. So what that means is that they would act as the editor-in-chief of that special issue. And what they do is they would reject any manuscripts which they think are out of scope. They would also reject any manuscripts which are lack sort of the quality that we're expecting to see in that journal. And then once it has passed that initial triage stage, that paper would then be assigned to the guest editors. This is normally done by subject area. So let's say that overseeing editor would then assign the paper to the guest editors by research area. And then from there, the guest editors would handle the review process. But just to note here is that once a guest editor makes a decision, that goes back to the overseeing editor for final check and approval. The reason we have this is just to make sure that guest editors are aligned indeed with the scope and quality of the journal. So we just have that extra filter within the journals, and that's for all journals. I hope this makes it clear. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think this is helpful, very helpful. Thank you, Denny. Yeah, and it's obvious, because sometimes people think like, oh, a special issue that gives power to the guest editor, and they can just accept papers, maybe even if they're not the higher quality that the standard that the journal expects. And that is not true, of course. So that is why you also mentioned the overseeing editor will, in the end, always evaluate what is the quality of this paper. Does it advance science? I am also an overseeing editor for another journal, not an Elsevier journal, of an ongoing now digital soil mapping special issue. And what we see is indeed that many of the manuscripts that are submitted are actually good research. There's nothing wrong with the research, but it is not enough novelty in there. There's no innovation, no advancing of science, just applying state-of-the-art digital soil mapping. And that is usually not enough for our journal to justify publication. So that's something we have to keep in mind. There were a few questions in the chat, and I think maybe, Crow, you can clarify, because you mentioned a few times the Kenya Soil Science Society, but I think it's East African Soil Science Society, right? So we broaden this special issue, not just Kenya, but all countries that are within East Africa. I'm not sure if that is a very clear definition of which countries are part of East Africa and which ones are not, but I think we should like to broaden it, right?
Yeah, well, I was hoping, and I hope Denny can confirm this, that we can do the special issue for whole continent, but it can, so we can receive manuscripts from whole continent, but maybe the collaboration or the lead of this special issue can stay with the East African Society, whether it is only Kenya chapter or other chapters. Because the whole thing started with Kenyan people. So I think we can keep the lead there, but we can invite all the scientists across the continent to submit high quality manuscripts as is expected. Yeah.
And I think an important first step is indeed to identify the individuals between 3 and 5 people, I would say, but Denny can correct me if I'm wrong, who are willing and interested to become a guest editor. And I think it's not something like we decide or Kenya decide. So we want to have that open, and maybe Pro, you could launch some kind of a call. So let everybody apply and maybe send their CV as well, because like Dr. Rigby mentioned, it's important, of course, that guest editors have experience with managing or editing journal papers for journals, or at least definitely with reviewing process, and that there is a sufficient international diversity in there as well, so that we can avoid conflicts of interest. So we need to identify that group of guest editors, maybe between 3 and 5 people. One of them should take the lead, should be be the coordinator. I would propose that makes things so much easier. And you need a topic. And I think, a very interesting topic would be something related to soil degradation in East Africa or in Africa. I don't know. And what are the remedies against that, and what can we do? And I also noticed that there is a lot of course, the term soil health is nowadays like a buzzword always used, but not to me always clear what exactly does it mean and how does it differ from soil fertility. But so this could all be a quite interesting topic, definitely also for Geoderma Regional. There was another question before we continue from Duba actually, Golicha. So, from Anthony Esilaba, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, to Denny actually. Is it possible for Elsevier to collaborate with an existing journal in East Africa, like the EAAFG? I don't know, the East African, agriculture, maybe? I don't know the acronym, but
yeah, potentially. What type of collaboration are you thinking about?
I don't know if Anthony is online.
He has his hand on. Yeah.
Oh, there's Anthony. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I was listening to you, but I was in another meeting for the African Journal, so I didn't get the details of what you're discussing. But I was a previous chairman of the Soil Science Society of East Africa for many years, and we already have a journal that is coordinated from KALRO in Kenya for the East Africa region. It's called the East African Agriculture and Forestry Journal. It's one of the oldest journals in Africa. Now, Elsevier, I'm looking at possibilities of Elsevier collaborating with this journal. Is it possible? Because we previously collaborated with Taylor and Francis in South Africa for about 5 or 6 years, and we really produced a lot of publications. We had special publications and we had regular journals, and this journal is still existing. So I'm wondering, is it possible to collaborate? Thank you. So
can I ask what you mean by collaboration? So because obviously the journal sits with Taylor and Francis at the moment. So are you looking to kind of broaden the, make it more international, or do you want to keep the journal authorship and audience as it is? Or what is it that you're looking in terms of, and also, is this a society journal?
Let me just repeat. We no longer have collaboration with Taylor and Francis because you need we need to enter into some agreement. And it will make it faster and quicker for you to collaborate. So you need to discuss the current editor, who Golicha knows very well, is seated in their offices right now. I was their previous employee, but I'm retired. And I'm a retired independent consultant. So I'm looking at it from the outside, but I'm still a member of the Soil Science Society. Thank you.
Yes, by all means, I understand now. So yes, please get in touch via email. We can discuss it offline, just to see what exactly you're looking in terms of help from another publisher. I'll be very, very happy to give you some feedback if nothing else. But also, it'll be quite fitting with this current call as well.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
like.
suggest that Golicha takes up this because he's the one in the office. He's sitting in the office I was sitting, and he knows the people I'm talking about. I'm just reminding them. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think, yeah, you will continue this offline, bilateral. And now we can, I think, go back to that special issue. Danny, you mentioned that you need, one of the first steps is also to define, to write a proposal, to submit a proposal. And what I understood from you is actually in two phases. So first, it's more like an idea, just very brief, and then later it's a more elaborate version. I guess you have a template for that, or?
So I just wanted to mention that I don't want people to waste their time, because often I receive a fully written proposal and then we just tear it apart, which seems really mean. But it would save a lot of time if you just send your idea in just a simple paragraph of what you think. And then if we give you the thumbs up, then we can give you sort of just the template that we need, what type of information we need. But broadly speaking, you will be doing this once you have the green light anyway. So it's a bit of a waste of time because you have to do the form twice, in which case it's best to just send the ideas for guest editors, deadlines. So when do you plan to start the submissions? When do you think you want to close the submissions? And another thing to bear in mind, and I think this is also really wonderful, and it just goes back to what we were talking about. If we have someone leading the special issue from Kenya, it would be really wonderful if they write an editorial. So look, the editorial is a really wonderful starting paper for a special issue. So it just opens up, it tells you what is going on in this issue, what types of papers did you are they sort of part of it, but also it can give you a little bit of background of how this became, how the idea sort of arose. And it's, I think, a really wonderful way of just promoting this, and this is the best way to do it, because I always encourage guest editors. I don't know how you do it in your special issues, but I encourage guest editors to write just a little overview of an editorial, just to round up the special issue. This is kind of done right at the end when everything has been published, and it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a proper paper. It can be just one page or one paragraph or whatever. So you don't have to spend a lot of time. I don't want to scare anyone off who wants to be the leader of the special issue.
Yeah, no, I think that's clear, and it's likely that will happen, because it's also a nicer way for the guest editors to get some credit for the hard work that they have done. And it will come towards the end, right? So when the special issue has already taken pretty good shape. I see that Crow has her hand raised.
Yeah, I think in terms of the title or the topic of the special issue, we can we can put some recent topics like soil health, land degradation, soil erosion, things like a main issue in Africa, and we see a lot of research going on there. I can use the platform of our community, which we have 800 people there, asking what are the main topic, collect them, and then bring it to a meeting with you, Denny, and then with the Soil Society, Kenya Soil Society. Then we can think about how we can develop this, how we can develop the board of editor from different region of Africa, for example. What are other thoughts you have, and then who going to lead? And so we think about in a different meeting how to formalize this. I will communicate with the community, because the community, the 800 people, are from whole continent. So we have soil scientists from everywhere there. And it's a good place to reach out to everyone who want to send an application for being guest editor, for being an editorial board. And also we can get them vote for top title for the special issue, where we can have like 20 manuscripts published there with their recent publication. So this to be continued. I will send an email to you to all the members from Kenya Soil Society who were in contact with me for the preparation of this webinar, actually, to find a slot to meet soon to formalize this collaboration.
Yeah, I think we should not wait too long with getting that group of guest editors defined. Because, for example, Crow, you mentioned what is the topic of the special issue. I think the guest editors have a big say in that as well. So maybe they should be defining it, but well, it will maybe go a little bit hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I will try to do this meeting, arrange this meeting next week. So we can, by the end of next week, we can communicate something to the community.
And if there's a call for guest editors, I think it's very important that we are very clear about what we expect from them. And because I often also get guest editors that are actually not realizing how much work it actually takes to be a guest editor. Because, well, I think Denny was maybe a bit optimistic that, well, you say like 50% desk reject. And then the remaining 50%, you don't know how many of them survive and get eventually published. But all of the submitted papers need to be, managed, like in terms of what's the scientific quality, should they be sent out for review, how to find reviewers, because that's increasingly difficult nowadays as well. And then once you get the review reports returned, you need to make up your mind and take a decision. And if it's a revision, you will start the whole, it will start again, getting the paper revised, sending it out for review. So it is really a lot of work to do a proper job. And then in the end, there's still the overseeing editor of the journal that will take the final decision. So we should like to have a call. And I think maybe already in this audience, there are people saying, oh, actually, I'm quite interested. And I would like to already show my interest, or maybe they should wait until Crow, you send out messages to all members of the community of practice. I did notice that there was a question about, are there any costs involved, Denny? But I guess, if it's a hybrid journal, then there's no pay for the guest editors, but there's also no cost, right? Yeah.
Yes. So for this, I will repeat this. So if we go with a hybrid journal, and I've just sent a message in the chat with all of the journals which are involved in this. And I just want to flag that if it's applied to ecology, we need to be fast, because from September onwards, the journal will be going to OA. So just be quick. So the other journals would be absolutely fine. And what I can do is make the special issue OA once it's been published. So I can do that for 2 years.
For 3 years, you mentioned, right?
2 years, correct. Yeah. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to kind of do something great for the community. And yeah, just let me know. This is the list. Unfortunately, journals like, it would be so wonderful if I could help with something like geothermal, but I cannot. This has been taken off my powers, so I can't help, I'm afraid. But I think we have a good selection there of journals, and if it's more, I'm afraid, kind of maybe a little bit more on the kind of biological, ecological side, but there are some good ideas if it's kind of more tillage related, sort of agricultural, soil and tillage research might be a really good idea. If it's, as we discussed, more regional, geothermal regional would be a really, really good option. So just let me know, and I'll be happy to give you sort of the initial feedback, but also in that call that we're going to schedule, I think it'll be really wonderful if you have a journal in mind, because I can already invite one of the editors-in-chief so that we can discuss this with them in that same call, because I can help, but as my background is in ecotox, it might not be very helpful in certain areas. So I can only give you so much feedback, and actually at the end of the day, the editors-in-chief have the final call in terms of the subject.
Yeah, looking at this list, I think geothermal regional, Tina, and soil and tillage research, these would be very suitable journals, but maybe the others as well, I don't know. And that's also up to that group of guest editors maybe to discuss. And I like your suggestion that already when we approach you, we have maybe some kind of like a ranking of the preferred journal or the second best or whatever, but some selection of which journals would be most appropriate for that special issue. Yeah.
So can I just mention Katina is a really wonderful journal, but it comes with a very odd scope. So Katina's got a scope which requires landscape geomorphology kind of aspect to it. So if the papers are all specifically on land degradation, these will be out of scope for the journal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so it cannot be just only soil, it has to be broader than that. But I think like soil degradation and then when you have erosion, but okay, you know better than
No,
me.
I mean, it just depends what you mean by soil degradation. So it means that if it's Katina, it needs to have the broader, the
basically, the homework is that we also should be studying the scope of each of the journals. Just read how suitable is it for the topic that we have in mind. Okay, Pro.
I think we are running out of time, so I think, or we are just on time with I don't see any other questions. So maybe we just, if there's no other questions from the guests and from you, Gerard, is there anything else to add from your side?
I think maybe just to confirm for that first proposal, we need to know a time frame, basically, like, okay, when, time schedule, who are the guest editors, what's the topic, maybe also the number of papers, the number of submissions that are anticipated. And that is just a first connection with Denny, Dr. Rigby, and then she will also line up with the editor-in-chief, and then move on from there. Yeah, and I think Crow is offering to take the first steps now, right? To approach all the members of the COP. Yeah.
Yes. We will arrange this follow-up meeting for next week. I will double check with Dr. Rigby and with the Soil Society in Kenya to see their availability. So we will start that soon.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Gerard, for summarizing. And thanks also for all our speakers, Dr. Rigby. And I don't see
maybe somebody wants to have a final word or say something about what has been discussed, or looks like
nothing
everybody...
else in the chat. No, I don't see any questions. So maybe I just stop recording and